Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. I'm here at EICMA 2024 and I'm here at the Rieju stand. Now they do have one bike over on the other side which I'm kind of interested in seeing, which is the new Aventura 307. But before I get there, I'll show you everything else on the way. It's not a terribly big stand, or if you just want to see that bit, skip to later. It is worth waiting for, or worth skipping to certainly, because even though they've had some interesting bikes here in the past, this one has particularly piqued my interest. Right then, so starting off with the Rieju Nuke cargo van, 6 kilowatt electric bike. Now that is definitely something a little bit weird. It's got this massive cargo box on the top. I assume that's for food service delivery or something else. Big battery sort of built in down at the bottom. I think it's a 6 kilowatt, which I guess is a fairly low power. There must be probably less than a 125, something like that. But you know, for deliveries around a town, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. Next to it we have the Ray 7.7, which is an 11 kilowatt scooter. Yeah, I think that is, well, twice the power of the delivery vehicle, and I think that probably is an equivalent to a 125. Next we have is a 50cc super motard, the Rieju MRT, and then we also have the Supermoto Trophy, also the 50cc. And this one at the end is their naked bike. It looks quite mean at the front. Looks a bit KTM-y. I don't know whether they'll appreciate that, maybe not. But anyway, this is the NKD 125R. For those of you who were asking me about 125s, again, that looks like a proper full-size motorcycle, albeit with a 125cc engine. I'm not sure it really needs the belly pan and all the other bells and whistles that are on there, but yeah, it's kind of cool, and it even has a TFT dash. Next up, we have a supermoto called a Marathon Europe, which is another 125 that looks very low to the ground. Quite a nice looking bike. Quite a nice looking bike if supermotos are your thing. The next thing we have is one of their Enduro bikes, which I guess has been used for hard enduro. This one stays raced at Hispania. You would have thought they might have at least washed it before coming back, but no. So it's got its battle scars that are on there from some hard enduro. And here we have one without the mud on it. But yeah, to be able to just see that, and yeah, that is a proper full-on enduro bike. Yeah, no, they look really cool. I have seen these at the ABR Festival before, and they are absolute beasts. Yeah, I really do like them. Here we have another MRT Pro 50, a little bit smaller, lower seat, little 50cc engine in there. You have the MR Pro 125 enduro bike, trail bike. Yeah, that looks really nice as well. Again, if you're after a 125, I think you could do a lot worse than one of these. And I think that even though it's just a 125, it is actually really nicely finished. I really like what they've done on here. Again, it's pretty simple, up and over, there you go. And here we have this amazing looking Rieju Aventura 307. I mean, if you're in the Netherlands and you feel like you might want one of these, then maybe you can find somebody who might sell you one. I mean, you can get it directly confirmed by the gentleman on the bike that the suspension feels much better than it does on the Honda CRF 300 Rally. And that's probably the competition that it's up against. So yeah, the Aventura Rally 307, I really do think that is going to be an excellent bike. I did have a sit on it earlier, and I was very impressed. Even for someone of my weight, the suspension feels, very, quite firm. When I first got on my CRF 300 Rally, there was a lot of sag, and I'm sure it was made for somebody about 40 kilos lighter than me. This has fully adjustable suspension. You've got air bleed screws in the top there. It's got sort of a portrait view TFT dash. Let's see what's in there. We have a double USB port in the side, and all these things come as standard. It's quite nice to see that we've got the switchable ABS from the handlebars as well. Single seat, sort of an enduro style seat, but actually that is kind of rubbery and it's kind of grippy as well. It's in a nice place where you can actually just get your knees in above there. Also comes with a rack fitted with a couple of little nodules on the underneath. You'd be easy to bungee something or strap something down to that. Just looking at the stock tyres that come with it, they're Michelin Enduro tyres. So again, you can buy that out of the box and you don't need to replace the tyres for something else. Coming around the other side, you can see the exhaust there, and actually I can see that even the rear shock is adjustable. You can see, I think it's for compression and rebound damping. The foot pegs, they do look like nicely toothed foot pegs. See if I can find out underneath. Yeah, I think those are just the rubber inserts that are in there, but you could take those out for a bit more grip in the mud. But yeah, that Rieju Aventura 307 I quite like. A lot of it will come down to how it's priced. But if it's up against the Honda, I think I'd probably pick one of these. So the next bike we have here on the stand is the Rieju Explorer 707, which is a, do we still call these bikes middleweight these days? Middleweight adventure bike. Nicely finished, as they all are. It's got some nice little touches like the backlit controls. It's quite a big TFT. It's not the brightest one I've ever seen, but it does have that conveniently located bar for a nav system above it anyway. It also looks like it's got some fixing points on the top of the tank for a tank bag, which seems to be a popular choice now, which actually makes fixing tank bags a lot easier. This one also comes with the side crash bars, sort of a minimalistic bash guard underneath, and those fork protectors over those KYB forks. Look up in there, the forks are fully adjustable. Coming around the front, you've got those two super bright LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals. Coming back down this side, it's a fixed brake lever in there. You see the rubber bungs in the end of the pedals. And yeah, I'll come up and around the back, show you the back end. And yeah, it's all right. Strangely, I'm far more excited about the Aventura Rally than I am by this. But I guess I've seen a lot of 700 and 800cc middleweight adventure bikes at the show this year. This one is 221 kilos dry. Yeah, I'm sure it's a very accomplished road bike, and you can do whatever you want with it. But it's not something that I'm probably going to struggle a bit to get excited by. Next one we have here is the Explorer 557. It's got those same daytime running lights. A lot of features look similar to its bigger sibling. If we come along the side, it actually looks quite similar as well. I suppose it's probably just the smaller engine capacity. When I come up and over the tank, again, that also looks quite similar with the mounting points for the tank bag, the screen and the nav bar. Next bike I'll show you here is the Rieju Aventura 500. Now, I've seen this bike last year and it always gets a lot of attention. And I think underneath it's essentially a Honda 500. I mean, you can see it's geared up as a tourer with lots of metal boxes. This one's also got the hand guards fitted, those big bash guards. And if you look here, you see there is a fuel tank in the back. It's not a rally bike. If I come up and show you, there's also another fuel tank here at the front. And between the two of those tanks, altogether, this bike has a fuel capacity of 20 litres plus another 19 litres. So yeah, 39 litres in total. I'm sure that gives it a range well in excess of 400, maybe even 500 miles. If you ever look up Nathan Millward, I know he's recently done a long trip on one of these where he really got to stretch the capacity of those tanks. Now in the real world, it's probably quite rare you're ever going to go anywhere where you'll need that kind of range, but the fact that it has it is definitely its USP. Right then, the last two bikes at the end, we have an Aventura 125, which is a low-seated 125 version of the other adventure bike down the end. And last but by no means least, we have the Fun Tango, which is a very simple air-cooled single 125, which, strangely, I also quite like. Sometimes these simple bikes really are quite pleasant, and I think if I was learning again and I was a foot shorter than I am, that would be an ideal bike to learn on. So that's it from my video here at the Rieju stand at EICMA 2024. One of the surprises was definitely this Aventura 307 Rally. At 138 kilos dry, I mean, that really is that's super light, right? I mean, yeah, if you fill it up 150, 155 kilos tops. And for the quality of the suspension that's on it, the tyres that come as stock, the fact it comes with a rear rack, USB charger, all those things, I think those are going to do really well. Now at the end of the show, I think I'm going to be on the Trail and Adventure Motorbike podcast, talking to them about some of the bikes that I've found interesting for the show, and this is definitely going to be one of them. So look them up wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll hear about this as one of my favourite bikes from 2024. So with that, thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content from EICMA, and maybe I'll see you there.